Square Enix had an event yesterday that was, well, kind of crappy for the most part, but we did get a look at an amazing looking PS5 game that some people are now complaining about, and I've wanted to make a speech on things of this nature for a very long time. Two Nintendo Switch games that are highly anticipated have gotten release dates and they're coming pretty soon. And finally, a new Nintendo Switch report is causing some major confusion online as usual, and I'm here to attempt to clear things up with this situation. What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and be sure to like the video. We're having a great day here. The Knicks won last night. I'm in a good mood, but without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. So Square Enix had their big spring event yesterday to talk about new games, upcoming games, games that we already know about and give updates on them. And well, I really didn't like this presentation. Like, it's Tomb Raider's 25th anniversary and you're sitting there talking about a cookbook for Lara Croft. Like, are we gonna be like cooking monkeys in this as she is in the jungle a lot? Like, I don't understand why this was a thing that was talked about, and statues and things of that nature. Just Cause, which I think is a very fun series. They showed Just Cause Mobile? No, I don't like mobile. Outriders, which of course has an extensive beta that you can play right now, no matter what system you have. Do I need 10 plus minutes on Outriders? Avengers, you know, I understand why they did the Avengers stuff. They're trying to salvage that game. I think people are going to enjoy stuff like Hawkeye and Black Panther and whatnot, but still, I was looking for like new stuff or new updates on games that we don't really know about. And the final thing that they showed was actually something very awesome. It was by far my favorite thing from this event, and that was Project Athia. Now, you might remember this game as being first introduced during the PlayStation 5 unveiling, and it was a Square Enix game, and really it didn't look like a traditional Square Enix game. To me, I looked at this game and thought, okay, this is more along the lines of a tech demo, something like we saw with the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo. Like, I didn't really think this would come to fruition as a full game, just sort of showing off what Square Enix was able to do on the PlayStation 5 in terms of things like size and scope and movement and fluidity. But now this game is an actual game. It's called Forspoken. It's coming out in 2022, and we got a new trailer for it, and really it holds most of that sort of stuff that we saw with that initial trailer of the game. Now, I'm not here to say that this is going to be a game of the year or anything like that, but from a visual standpoint, you gotta admit it has a lot of promise. Like, this game looks absolutely gorgeous. It seems interesting enough from the characters that we were introduced to as well. I definitely still want to see gameplay and whatnot, you know, sort of get a better grasp on what this game is going to bring to the table. But from what we saw from this, I think it definitely has a lot of promise. It's definitely a very exciting PlayStation 5 exclusive game that I think a lot of PlayStation 5 owners are going to be looking forward to. But quickly after this event wrapped up, something happened, and oh my god. So people are saying that Forspoken is SJW because it has a female black character as the lead. All right, David Duke, let's put down the mask here and let's talk about this. There's going to be a timestamp, I'm sure, in the comment section down below that will be to the next segment. If you don't care about my thoughts on things like this, feel free to skip it. I don't care, that's fine. But this is something that's just been bothering me. It's been bothering me for a long time, and it's something I want to get off my chest. Now, whether you've watched this channel for a day, a week, a month, a year, 4 years, or whatever it's been, I think you understand that I'm not exactly the most PC person in the world, and I think, you know, that sort of gives me an interesting perspective on things. I do not like pandering. I think it's ridiculous when individuals or companies come out and pander to the other groups of individuals, usually marginalized groups of individuals, just because most of the time there's only really two reasons that they're doing it. It's either for a financial gain or it's just to give themselves a pat on the back and brownie points. I feel like when you watch my channel, you should understand my stance on a lot of things. I do not care about your race. I do not care about your religion. I do not care about your sex or your gender or whatever it is. This is a place to talk about video games, and I feel like I've done a good job of encompassing a community of various walks of life. I've had people from all over the world talk to me: Asian, Brazilians, Africans, you know, of course, United States, the traditional white gamer dude or whatever. Like, I get it, and that's one of the things I tried to do on this channel, is just be entertaining for everything and everyone. You know, I don't talk about a lot of social issues and stuff like that because I like to be the person behind the scenes doing stuff for these social issues. But to say that a game is SJW simply because of the fact that it has a black female character, there's something wrong with you. Okay, there's something wrong with you, and you need to look at yourself and realize, you know, maybe you need to make some sort of adjustments in life. Like, it's ridiculous, and it diminishes things that are actually things that are pandering, that are actually people that are pandering for monetary gain, or companies that are pandering for monetary gain, because it dilutes the whole sort of anti-SJW thing. I'm not a huge SJW person. When I look at a game like Life is Strange, which was the game before this, which is a game, if anything that you want to talk about sort of SJW, it'd probably be Life is Strange. But like, look, you got this chick and she moves to a new town, like, my life is so hard, my family is weird, I got family problems, I got to adjust to a new town. Look, life sucks, wear a helmet. If this is your biggest problem, moving to a new town, having family members that are, you know, passing away or having issues and stuff like that, your life's in pretty good shape. You're pretty much like 90% of the rest of the world. Like, wait till you have to do taxes and hold down a job and shit like that. Like, that's when shit gets really real. But to bring everything back sort of full circle, because I've gone on a tangent about other things, Forspoken is not an SJW game. It's not a pandering game simply because of the fact that it has a black female lead character. And that is ridiculous to think that. I could say a whole hell of a lot of other things about it, but, you know, just calm down, people. Like, if this is your biggest problem in life, you need to go to the Life is Strange universe, because your life is very easy. I am looking forward to Forspoken. I am very interested in learning about this character, and I'm very interested in this game. So, you know, the Square-Enix event sucked, but at least this looked cool. And sorry for the rant. Next up, because I'm sure somebody put a timestamp in the comment section down below and you skipped my long-winded rant about things in the world. I mean, that's cool. I understand. We're talking about video games here. There are 2 Nintendo Switch games that I think are highly anticipated that have gotten release dates, and they're coming in the month of May, and they're actually coming on the same day. Now, the first game is Maneater. I honestly thought Maneater for the Switch was going to be canceled. It was announced a long time ago. I actually own it on the PlayStation 4, which has a free PlayStation 5 upgrade, but I just haven't put the disc into my PlayStation 5 yet because I haven't really been playing my PlayStation 5 all that much. But I always thought Maneater looked really cool because it reminded me of Jaws Unleashed, and I absolutely loved Jaws Unleashed on the original Xbox, and it also came out on the PlayStation 2, but I played it on the original Xbox. Now, this is a game that, you know, if the Switch version of it is good, I might actually double dip on it and check it out, because I think it would be really fun to play this game in portable mode. I do sort of question how this version of the game is going to turn out. Hopefully we could see some sort of, you know, gameplay specifically from the Nintendo Switch version of this game. But if you've been waiting for Maneater, it is now coming out on the Nintendo Switch on May 25th. Also on May 25th, we have, well, the bigger game of the 2 games, and that is Shin Megami Tensei 3 HD Remaster, coming out on May 25th as well. Now, I've never played this game. I've dabbled in the Shin Megami Tensei series. I played the one, what was it on the DS? Demon Soul, Devil Soul, something like that, or whatever. And I know the Shin Megami Tensei series is a very popular series. It's definitely very Japanese in sort of its writing and storytelling elements, but it does look like an interesting enough game. You know, the visual style is obviously a cleaned up PS2 visual style, so it's not going to set the world on fire or anything like that, but it is interesting to see this game finally get a leaked release date. Nintendo of Europe actually sent out a press release accidentally yesterday saying that the game was going to be coming out on May 25th. So, 2 very interesting games coming to the Nintendo Switch in the month of May. Of course, in the month of April, towards the end of it, I will be talking about whatever other games are coming to the Switch in the month of May, but now May has at least 2 interesting looking games that you might want to check out. So Maneater, Shin Megami Tensei 3 HD Remaster, both coming to the Nintendo Switch on May 25th. And finally, a new Nintendo Switch Pro thing to talk about. Now, I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to keep this short because there's a lot of information that we don't really have. And when I say I'm going to keep it short, it probably won't end up being short. And then between this and the rant earlier in the video, this is probably going to be one of my longest videos ever, but it's something I want to talk about. It's something I've been researching and something I've been looking at. So basically, there's a new report that a lot of people are starting to talk about on the YouTubes, on the websites and stuff like that. And I honestly feel like most of these people are looking at this report in a wrong way. So I'm not necessarily saying that they are wrong in what they are saying in their assessment of the report, but I'm just looking at it from a different perspective, and I want to give you guys sort of a different perspective. So, you know, I ain't trying to start no YouTube or, you know, website beef in these streets. You know, it's not about that. It's just talking about video games. At the end of the day, all this Switch Pro stuff that we get, all these sorts of bits of information is just interpretation. So all because one person interprets news as something else, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily right or wrong. I guess we'll find out when we finally learn about this system. So this information is once again coming to us from Bloomberg, but unlike all the other Bloomberg stories where you could simply look it up and then read the information and sort of digest it for yourself, this is actually hidden behind Bloomberg's terminal, which is basically like $24,000 a year. I've actually talked to someone who had Bloomberg terminals before, and you have to go through all these hoops and you got to call Bloomberg and like set up your IP and stuff. I was interested in signing up for Bloomberg terminals just to read this sort of article because of the fact that I wanted to give you guys the most accurate stuff from it, but I'm not spending 24 grand a year. Like, I love you guys, but not 24 grand a year. Love you guys. So basically this information is coming to us from a Reddit poster who allegedly has seen this thing, and this is a Reddit poster being named Ryomegon, I don't know, Riomegon. Now I looked them up. They have a good track record. They're very active on the Nintendo Switch Reddit. They usually have good breaking news and things like that. So I'm not necessarily writing this off because of the fact that it's just a Reddit post, because this Reddit user seems to have a very good track record. They gave some details about what was in this report as well. How they acquired those details, it's kind of up to interpretation. Now, before we get into what the actual report says, I want to give a background to who allegedly wrote this report. Now, allegedly, scrolling down the Reddit thread, it was said that Matthew Cannerman was the one who wrote this. Now, Matthew Cannerman, that's not a household name or anything like that, so I decided to look up who this individual was. He's basically an equity research analyst, meaning that he looks at information from companies and advises investors on money spending. And I think that is a huge key to this story, is that he is basically an equity-based person, an equity research analyst who just focuses on tech things, but doesn't necessarily, have that sort of inside information. So the gist of this report is as follows. Within this report, they allegedly reiterate a holiday launch in 2021. They say that hardware sales will remain flat or grow slightly due to revision. Higher expectations are placed on the Nintendo Switch Pro, which is what it's referred to in the article, than the PS4 Pro, which sold about 2 million in the launch window. The launch quarter, which is expected to be September through December, could reach up to 12 million units sold. According to the hardware forecast, they speculate that the MSRP could be higher for this revisions, upwards of 20%. Zelda is a strong launch game candidate with several round-out titles to accompany it. And the final thing that's said in this is that the performance of this revision is expected to be in line with the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X. Now, obviously, there's a lot of very interesting information in this. PS4 Pro, Xbox One X capabilities, and that's what some people have been sort of talking about within their videos or their news stories that have popped up on the internet. But I have to circle back to one thing, that this person who wrote this article is an equity research analyst, meaning that I don't necessarily think any of this stuff is necessarily new, because most of it falls in line with previous Bloomberg reports from the actual tech people at Bloomberg that have talked about the Nintendo Switch revision thus far. The only sort of things that really stick out as new information, we've heard rumors that Breath of the Wild 2 could accompany a Nintendo Switch revision. We've heard things like this is going to be a more powerful system than what the current Nintendo Switch is. And of course, when you look at a system like the PS4 Pro, the PS4 to PS4 Pro jump wasn't a big enough jump for a lot of people to want to necessarily upgrade, just sort of the higher tier of people, whereas the Nintendo Switch revision could definitely benefit a lot more from this. But I think where everyone is getting lost is with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X power thing, saying that it's going to be as strong as those systems. And I think that a lot of this is just speculation based on other Bloomberg reports. And obviously, if you're talking to financial related people, you want to sort of dumb it down to sort of get into terms that they can understand. A powerful system such as a revised system from the last generation. And I just feel like this is something that's being lost in translation. And that's where things get very murky for this story for me, because I feel like Mr. Cannerman is talking within reason with most of these things. And he's talking from a financial standpoint of how people might want to invest in Nintendo for this upcoming season. I mean, I'm probably going to drop some money into Nintendo before the holiday season via the stock market, because I think they're going to have a very profitable thing, for 2021. I think their stocks are probably going to go up. But you got to remember, this is the financial side of things, not the technological side of things. I don't think that the Nintendo Switch revision is going to be a PlayStation 4 Pro in terms of power, in terms of things like that, because it's a hybrid system. Imagine the battery life on this. Imagine the cost. There are systems like little mini PCs that are out there that can do a lot of crazy things, but they're upwards of $1,000 usually. Nintendo's not going to position themselves in that sort of position. I feel like a lot of this is just speculation based on previous Bloomberg reports, and the information within here isn't necessarily new to begin with. It's just speculating on the information that we already have. So people that are running out there and saying that the Nintendo Switch revision is pretty much confirmed to be like a PlayStation 4 Pro in terms of performance, I believe are misinterpreting this information. So I basically just wanted to clear this up. I'm seeing more and more sort of articles, more and more videos pop up, and this is just my interpretation of the information that we have given, pretty much in line with what we have been saying along this whole time. Now, I could be completely wrong, and this thing could be more powerful than the PlayStation 5 and sell 3,000 billion copies, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Whew, I'm gonna have a fun time editing this video. So those are my thoughts on what's going on in the world of video games. I know there was many twists and turns within this video, a lot of very interesting stuff, but hey, you know what? It's stuff I wanted to talk about, and that's kind of the point of this channel. I'd like to talk about stuff that I want to talk about. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of everything. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys sort of learned something from it, or at least had some entertainment value out of it, because at the end of the day, that's what I'm here to do. Just entertain, talk about video games, you know, have some fun, and, you know, tell some jokes. You know what we do here. You know what we do. And as always, folks, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.